嗨，大家好，欢迎来到我的频道。刚看完了巴菲特的纪录片《Becoming Warren Buffett》，总结了以下8点巴菲特的建议，分享给各位，希望对各位有帮助。第一点是爱惜自己的大脑和身体。巴菲特表示，自己在16岁时，脑子里只有2件事，分别是女孩和汽车。因为不擅长和女孩子打交道，就更多的会想汽车这件事。如果当时有个精灵告诉他，可以给他任意一辆他想要的汽车，但有个条件，那就是这辆汽车是他这辈子唯一一辆汽车，那么他会熟读汽车使用手册至少5次以上，小心使用，并认真爱护和对待这辆汽车。当然，我们不可能一辈子就只拥有一辆车，但我们这辈子就只有一个大脑，一个身体，他们要跟随我们走完这一生。我们现在如何对待他们，决定了他们今后几十年的状态。第二点是，早点开始投资。不论是我们的身体还是大脑，巴菲特都建议我们早点开始投资。他自己会通过阅读来充实自己的大脑，每天都要阅读至少5到6小时，且过程中会十分的专注。就算家人在身边打闹嬉戏，他都能沉浸在自己的书本或报纸中，一点都不受打扰，就像独自待在办公室一样。巴菲特曾表示，人生就像滚雪球，重要的是要找到很湿的雪和很长的坡。他建议我们尽可能早点开始储蓄投资，宁早不要晚，越早开始，复利效果将会越明显。他自己在5、6岁的时候就开始捏自己的雪球，进行储蓄和投资。关于投资，他有4点建议。第一点建议是牢记2条投资准则。准则1是永远不要失去钱，准则2是永远不要忘记准则1。第二点建议是待在自己的能力范围内，耐心等待好的投资机会，过程中不要在意他人的催促，当机会一到就立即抓住。第3点建议是理性投资，只专注于资产价值，不要受市场价格的影响，更不要在意他人想法和评价。在投资中，一般操作少的人比频繁操作的人玩得更好，赚得更多。第4点建议是要清楚地知道，赚钱最重要的是时间，最好减少开支，持续购入有价值的资产。同时，他建议千万不要负债，因为负债是很难让我们开始捏并滚我们的雪球的。关于巴菲特的投资建议，推荐各位可以观看之前分享的关于查理芒格的投资智慧，我觉得会更加具体和透彻。第3点建议是做事要专注。巴菲特去比尔盖茨家玩，比尔盖茨的父亲让他们分别写下对他们最有帮助的事。巴菲特和比尔盖茨都写了专注。对于巴菲特来说，如果他对某件事情感兴趣，那就是真的很感兴趣。他会通过各种手段去了解这件事，不论是大量翻阅各种资料，还是和他人交谈等。第4点是面对并及时改正自己的弱项。巴菲特曾经很害怕当众演讲，严重到要呕吐的那种。但他知道，如果他不主动面对并想办法解决，那他永远都会害怕演讲。所以，他通过主动参加戴尔·卡耐基的演讲课程，去大学授课等方式锻炼自己，最终克服了这个弱项。第5点是做自己热爱的事，这样我们会很快乐。巴菲特认为，人生就像一部丰富有趣的电影，不应该无意识地随波逐流，浑浑噩噩度过一生。他鼓励我们去寻找并去做那些我们即使不需要钱也很乐意去做的事，因为这样我们会很开心和幸福。比如巴菲特他自己，现在已经96岁高龄，个人净资产已经达到了1500多亿美金， 每天早上仍然会兴奋地起床，开心地去公司上班，因为他在公司做的事是自己十分热爱的事，工作对于他来说是一种享受。第6点是和比自己优秀的人相处，因为人很容易被身边人同化，我们会更接近于我们接触的人，所以巴菲特建议我们要和优秀的人相处。比如有学生曾问巴菲特如何找到正确的伴侣时，他的回复是 marry up， 也就是找一个比自己更优秀的人结婚。这里的更优秀并不是指财富，而是指性格、智慧、品格、价值观、生活习惯等方面。因为婚姻会极大地影响我们的幸福、生活质量、决策方式。和一个更优秀的人在一起，我们会被带动着成长。反之，如果伴侣品质或习惯不好，我们的生活和决策都会受到影响。第7点是将钱花在自己觉得值得的地方。很多人都认为巴菲特节俭，一个房子就住了几乎一辈子。但在他看来，他个人并不觉得自己节俭，他会购买任何他想买的东西，只要他觉得值得。比如他会买飞机，因为飞机给他带来方便和舒适。他虽然可以购买很多房子，但他选择不买。他有很多朋友有很多房子，但在他看来，这些拥有很多房子的朋友们就像酒店管理者一样。第8点是关于财富传承的想法。针对财富传承，巴菲特计划留给孩子们的金钱数量足够他们做任何他们想做的事，但没有多到能让他们什么都不做。这是他之前的好朋友，美国报业第1夫人、华盛顿邮报的前老板凯瑟琳·格雷厄姆给他的建议。我觉得这个真的很聪明，给孩子提供人生的选择权，但财富不至于多到让他们什么都不做，他们仍需自己去探索和创造属于自己的人生。这样做，他们不仅不会随意挥霍财富，感到人生没有意义，活得不快乐，反而会活得更有动力，更加充实和幸福。推荐各位有兴趣的话，可以去看看 Born Rich 生来富有这部纪录片，里面把这句话展现得淋漓尽致。Becoming Warren Buffett 和 Born Rich 这2部纪录片的链接我放在简介栏里面，有兴趣的小伙伴可以去看看。谢谢各位观看到现在，下次再见。
70 years ago, I was in high school, almost a third as long as the country has been around. And when I was in high school, I really only had 2 things on my mind: girls and cars. and I wasn't doing very well with girls, so we'll talk about cars. But let's just imagine that when we finish, I'm going to let each one of you pick out the car of your choice. Sounds good, doesn't it? Pick it out, any color, you name it. It'll be tied up with a bow, and it'll be at your house tomorrow. And you say, well, what's the catch? And the catch is that it's the only car you're going to get in your lifetime. Now, what are you going to do knowing that that's the only car you're ever going to have and you love that car? You're going to take care of it like you cannot believe. Now, what I'd like to suggest is you're not going to get only one car in your lifetime, but you're going to get one body and one mind, and that's all you're going to get. And that body and mind feels terrific now, but it has to last you a lifetime. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Ted Williams wrote a book called The Science of Hitting, and in it he had a picture of himself at bat and the strike zone broken into, I think, 77 squares. And he said if he waited for the pitch that was really in his sweet spot, he would bat 400, and if he had to swing at something on the lower corner, he would probably bat 235. And in investing, I'm in a no-called strike business, which is the best business you can be in. I can look at 1,000 different companies, and I don't have to be right on every one of them or even 50 of them. so I can pick the ball I want to hit. And the trick in investing is just to sit there and watch pitch after pitch go by and wait for the one right in your sweet spot. And if people are yelling, swing you bum, ignore them. There's a temptation for people to act far too frequently in stocks simply because they're so liquid. Over the years, you develop a lot of filters. And I do know what I call my circle of competence. So I stay within that circle, and I don't worry about things that are outside that circle. Defining what your game is, where you're going to have an edge, is enormously important. The biggest thing in making money is time, and I've had this long run, and so the compounding at the end turns into very big numbers. But if you would, well, the start of the 20th century, the Dow Jones average was at 66, and it ended at 11,400. And that was with the Great Depression and world wars and flu epidemics and everything else. So you've got a tailwind in this country if you just own a cross section of it. One big thing is keeping down expenses, and the other thing is not trying to pick one stock, but owning a large group of stocks and buying it over time, and then just sitting and paying no attention to people who say they know when to buy and sell stocks or buy and sell this individual stock. So it's a very simple game where the person who doesn't try to do very much usually does better than the person who spends a lot more energy on it. I think it was about 1992 that shortly after I met Bill Gates, I was out at with his parents, and they had some other guests, and Bill's dad asked each of us, and there were probably 20 or so, to write down on a piece of paper one word that would best describe what had helped us the most. And Bill and I, without any collaboration at all, each wrote the word focus. And I would say my partner Charlie Munger is an extreme example of focus. But that's why Tiger Woods hit 10,000 putts too, or Roger Federer's. But spending 3 or 4 hours a day hitting a golf ball, or some pianist has been spending 5 hours a day practicing. I mean, focus is just bearing down on something that in my case, and I think probably the case of most people that are reasonably good at what they do, that they enjoy. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it if it was work. So it's a natural. It is not. I say to myself, I'm going to focus on this or do anything of the sort. It's just a natural behavior, and it's been that way ever since I was a kid. But kids focus. I mean, there's, the best kid at baseball in 8th grade is taking a lot of swings out there, or he's. I think Bill Bradley told me he used to shoot baskets 5 or 6 hours a day because he figured some other guy was doing it 4 hours a day. But he enjoyed it too, and it's the same way with me. I can't tell you the color of the walls in my bedroom or my living room, or the color of the carpet in my living room. One time, when I worked at home, I worked in this little sewing room, sort of off the bedroom, and at one point, my wife put in this wallpaper with this bright red and had dollar bills on it or something. She found it someplace, and a couple of years later, I said to her, that new wallpaper is terrific, and she said it's been there a couple of years. I just don't see things like that. I'm not colorblind or anything, but it's just not something that grabs me. And on the other hand, I'll remember a number sometimes a long time. My partner Charlie Munger would be the same way. I mean, and Bill Gates would be the same way. I've got a lot of friends that they get so darned interested in what they're working on. They just don't see other things. That makes me easy to live with in some ways. I mean, you can sort of get away with anything around me. Somebody once said that the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. I had been terrified of public speaking. I couldn't do it. I'd throw up. And I knew if I didn't cure it then, I'd never cure it. And so I saw an ad in the paper for the Dale Carnegie course, which worked on developing your ability to speak in public. And I went down there.
Be sincere. A good smile has the same effect as a puppy's tail. When a puppy wags...
They made us do all these crazy things to get out of ourselves, and so we stood on tables and did all kinds of things. If I hadn't have done that, my whole life would have been different. So in my office, you will not see the degree I got from the University of Nebraska. You'll not see the master's degree I got from Columbia University, but you'll see the little award certificate I got from the Dale Carnegie course. The world is a great movie to watch, but you don't want to sleepwalk through life. The important thing to do is to look for the job you would take if you didn't need a job. And life is wonderful then. I mean, you know, you jump out of bed in the morning because you're really looking forward to the day. I have, for over 60 years, been able to tap dance to work just because I'm doing what I love doing, and I just feel very, very lucky. I think that I'm lucky enough in life, I know I'm lucky enough in life, to be able to associate pretty much with whom I want to in business or socially or wherever, and I think it's sort of crazy. I think the ideal thing is to focus with people that are better than you are, because you will move in the direction of the people you associate with. And I advise students all of the time, you know, marry up, marry somebody better. It can't be done mathematically if everybody tries to do it, but your behavior will move in the direction of the people you associate with. And so why not associate with the best? I mean, I've had a number of heroes in life, and associating with them has done wonders for me. I would not have been the same person. I would not have had the same fun in life if I'd been indiscriminate in terms of who I associate with over time. I'm not frugal in the sense I buy anything I want, I buy. And if I thought I would enjoy a $200 dinner better than a hamburger, I get it. I'd buy it, but on Sunday, I frequently take out my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. I've got 9 great-grandchildren, and 7 of them live in this area. And we go to Dairy Queen. Now, we don't go to Dairy Queen because Berkshire owns it. We don't go to Dairy Queen because you don't run up a big bill. We go to Dairy Queen because I'd rather eat their food than anybody else's, and the rest of them do too. So I have never, maybe go back to when I was 15 or something, but basically I've never denied myself anything I wanted. And the plane is very useful to me, and it enables me to do things that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And it's a lot more comfortable, and so it doesn't make any difference what it costs, because money has no meaning to me anymore. So if something costs me $1 million and I'm going to really get something out of it, I'll do it. But there's very, very, I can't think of what, money certainly doesn't buy love. It'll buy sex, buy recognition. You can get your name on a building if you want to write a big enough check. But there's no way it can buy love. It can buy testimonial speeches. But so most things, there are very few things that require money. A plane requires money. So but I could have multiple houses, but my life would be worse rather than better. I have all kinds of friends that have multiple houses, and basically they become like a hotel manager, and they have to plan what people want. I don't want to do all that. We always said that we were going to give away, if I made a lot of money, which I was convinced I would, that we would end up giving it away. We'd have everything we wanted, and we would leave our children. Originally, the idea was enough so they could do anything, but not enough so they could do nothing. That was a line that actually Katharine Graham gave to me, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're very wealthy, it's crazy to have your kids out there in rags or something of the sort, but it's also crazy to have them so they never have to lift a finger the rest of their life. So over time, we gave them some money. But in my entire lifetime, everything that I've spent, my wife spent, and my kids have spent that came from me will be quite a bit less than 1% of everything I make. The other 99% plus will go to others because it has no utility to me, and my kids have all they need. They each run a foundation which I fund, and they do a terrific job doing it, and they each in their own way they do it, and they work hard at it, and they live pretty much normal lives. I mean, they're not driving around. I gave them probably, I don't know how many years ago, 5 or 10 years ago, I started giving them a few hours on the plane, but not enough so that they could go crazy on it. But so I've softened up some on that, but I couldn't be more pleased with how the whole subject of money has worked out in our family.